durant.
Microphone, keeping it real, keeping it real. Yeah, there we are. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Attempts at Governance. This is episode 202. We're calling this one Peer, and you'll see why in a second. We have a great panel here, and a lot of us are in Vancouver for a special event today. I think we're going to have a really good time, but we're going to start with the state of the Treasury. Please be showing, please be showing. Yes, we're looking very good today. We are up 200,000 DOT, which is worth $1.24 million at today's market value. That brings the Treasury to 29.48 million DOT, bullish DOT. We're also up 260,000 USDC to 8.23 million, and we're down 10,000 USDT to 9.8 million. That's the state of the Treasury. I'll now throw it over to Funky for the state of the funk.
Thanks so much, Jay. The state of the funk, admittedly, today is appreciative, like the DJ Khaled GIF. I appreciate you. I appreciate Dottie Dreamer. I don't know if Dottie saw the email or what happened, but I woke up 2 days ago and noticed that the massive 12 point whatever nay was removed from the Connor Daily ref.
Whoa.
So massive swing at now 97.1% I, which I'm sure we'll talk about a little bit later. But if you're watching, Dottie, I don't know if it was the email or the conversation among the community or whatever the case may be, but just know that I'm incredibly grateful and I appreciate you. Thanks so much, Jay.
Great. Thank you, Funky, and thank you, Dottie. We'll throw it over to Limo now for refs gone by.
Thank you very much. There's only 4 refs this week. We're really not getting that many refs in recently.
True.
The first one, and I know we're going to talk about this a little bit later on, this is by the Parallel Finance team on the route track ref 1339. This was approved, and it was a critical runtime upgrade to prevent further exploitation, which didn't really go as planned, which we'll go through in a little bit. Then we've got one by Ross and Joe, ref 1370 on the medium spinner track. This was approved. And this is for 82,000 USDT for the Polkadot staking dashboard 2025 Q1 and Q2 funding. So congrats to those guys. Then we've got the moderation team, ref 1367. This was approved as well, and this is a bounty top-up of 27.3 thousand DOT for the moderation team bounty, who do some good work on the various community channels. And finally, we've got Subscan, ref 1366. This was approved as well, and this is for 163.5 thousand USDT for Subscan Q3, Q4 2024 retroactive proposal for providing their services for Polkadot, West End, and Rococo. And that's all the refs gone by this week.
Thank you very much, Limo. Now, you were mentioning this critical runtime upgrade to prevent further exploitation. You said it didn't go as planned. Do you mind giving us a quick recap of what we were attempting to do and what ended up happening?
Yes, basically, some attackers, let's say, took ownership of the super user account on Parallel Finance and attempted to use that account to steal tokens. Basically, there was some that they did take. They like XCM'd them to Moonbeam and Akala and all these chains to try and like obfuscate where they were moving to. They used some like atomic swap sites as well to further obfuscate what they were doing. But then they tried to unlock a bunch of DOT, which exists because Parallel had like a crowd loan derivative thing and a liquid staking token, I believe. So basically, Polkadot governance identified that and tried to, well, we did freeze the funds, and then we attempted as Polkadot to set the Parallel team to the pseudo user. And then it seems just before that executed, the attacker using their existing pseudo added themselves as any proxy to the new pseudo and also froze all of the Parallel tokens. So now the team can't do any transactions on the chain because they can't use any tokens to do transactions. Seems to be what's up right now. There is I think you've probably shown it on screen, a message from the Parallel team on their Discord. Yeah, seems a bit of a cluster muck, so to say.
So the state of the chain right now is everything's bungled and frozen. Nobody can do anything. The attacker's done his, can't do any more, or her. And the team also has no access to do anything at this point.
Yeah, I think all Parallel or Para tokens are frozen, which means nobody can do any transactions. But it's probably means it's reasonable to do another root ref since nobody can do anything. But apparently they are unbonding the remaining 200,000 DOT currently. So probably there needs to be another ref to stop them from doing that.
The attacker's doing that.
Yeah, I believe they scheduled the unbond and then froze all the tokens.
Oh my God. Rahul, you have any color for this?
Okay, so my first note would be that this is one of the reasons why liquid staking is dangerous, but that's a personal opinion. I just wanted to tell everyone what Limo just mentioned, which is it seems that the 6 accounts that were rebonded by a proposal a few weeks ago are now being unbonded. We assume by the attacker, right? So it's again a bit of time pressure. So I know the Parallel team is checking all of the possible solutions and will possibly come back with a new proposal. So we'll keep you updated.
And what is it? Are we going to tie up the root track again with another ref? Is this what we're going to have to do?
The root track would be the only option, I believe. I don't know if Fellowship would want to catch a proposal like this.
It's awful. It's like our parachain is causing us problems. It's like our kid who ran away, getting into trouble, and we're getting the bill. All right. Thanks for the update, guys. That's horrendous. And yeah, this attacker, I mean, this attacker was, obviously knows what they're doing. Is obviously, very hireable, except for a few characteristics that maybe aren't so favorable. Yeah, Liam.
They obviously know what they're doing and know a lot of information about the Parallel team, seemingly by a wish for change to put up, or was it root track ref to put up, just like slating them. So it's
right.
Definitely, you can maybe read into that and try and figure out who it might be. But yeah, they definitely know what they're doing. 100%.
Well, I guess speculation is legal now, so we can read into it as much as we want. But thanks for the update there, Lee. We'll see what happens in the weeks to come. We're gonna get rolling now with some presentations this week, and it's kind of cool because we have some discussions. Kind of fell out of popularity, but coming back with a vengeance. We have this discussion here: the Peer 3 SDK, real-time peer-to-peer smart contracts. And I want to go real slow here so we can really wrap our heads around what's being offered here. But we definitely have some awesome people here to speak about that. Luca and I think Jeff as well is here, although he's not on the screen yet. Where are you?
But he's here.
Okay, well, if you show your cam, Jeff, you'll come up on the screen. But welcome, guys. What do you want to tell us about this one?
Yeah, so first off, like this is my first time attending these calls, so sorry if I skip some formalities.
No, welcome.
Many people here are new to me, even though I met even some back in Hong Kong during the PBA. So like a brief introduction. So I'm an alumni from the PBA with distinction in Hong Kong. And in general, my background is in engineering, distributed systems, various different protocols of blockchain, and also in like Web 2. So here today, we also also Jeff is here from the Web3 Foundation. Probably I don't need to do an introduction to him. You all guys probably know him for his various contributions on the core protocol of Polkadot and Kusama. So what we want to talk about today is like our upcoming treasury proposal. So recently we delivered all our milestones for our level 3 grant with the Web3 Foundation. And it was to build a minimal feature set of this peer-to-peer state channels SDK. The main goal is to improve the user experience on Polkadot. So Polkadot and Web3 in general are not known for having a really good user experience. Like on Polkadot currently, like the time to finality is 30 seconds. So that means every time you interact with the chain, you approximately have to wait for 30 seconds to get a response. If you're, of course, waiting for finality, and on top of that, you always have to pay a transaction fee. What we are trying and aiming to achieve is get real-time execution. So the moment you click something, you see like the effects of it, and to save on transaction fees. Before like we go into this like proposal, which we've written and posted as a discussion, and there's like an executive summary, and then like today we updated with a more detailed proposal, even though there are links and everything is clickable. I have 3 slides just to illustrate like to non-techies what we are like talking about, and also like later to talk about some use cases. So just give me a second to share my screen. Entire screen, I guess, is fine. Wait, share. You guys see it? Ah, no, we're starting from the last.
Yes, we do.
Okay, great. So in the general case, like when people are interacting with a blockchain, you have like these peers, and they interact directly with the blockchain and wait for a response. So this is slower, as we said. You have to wait for finality, approximately 30 seconds in Polkadot, and you always pay a fee. So what we are proposing is something that more resembles like real-world structures in hierarchy, where peers interact directly with one another. They form these agreements and commit to them. So they have initially one transaction that is recorded on a blockchain, and after that they offload and run everything directly between them without any intermediaries, fully peer-to-peer. So all of this execution happens locally on their machines. That's why it's like in real time, and that's why it doesn't have fees, because they're providing a service to themselves. Nobody else is running services for them. And these are like, I would say, state channels, but client side. Like the difference between what other blockchain scaling solutions are doing, mostly everybody is focused on scaling servers, rollups, or execution sharding, like what we have in Polkadot, and we are entirely focused on the client. So everything is offloaded to the end user. And here we have like a video just to showcase. On the left-hand side is if okay, the tic-tac-toe demo is like less important. What's important is you see something is clicked, and here we're waiting like for 15 seconds. Like usually it would be 30, but just for the sake of this video, it's 15, and you're paying fees. And on the right-hand side, everything is running in real time. So as you click, you get like, it gets gossip, it gets packaged into block and gossip to like other peers immediately without delay. Just plug it into their own copy of the state machine and display it. So this really unlocks a lot of use cases that rely on real-time communications. Like most of the blockchain interaction is, I would say, like fine for DeFi protocols, and if you're like sending a payment from a friend like on other part of the world, like waiting 30 seconds for that is fine. But if you want to build like something like on-chain gaming and things like that, where user experience is like the utmost importance, then like you really need real-time communication and real-time execution. So we kind of designed this SDK with a focus on gaming, but we generalized it later to be able to do multiple use cases. We'll also be doing like later things like poker, and we'll be focusing mostly on gaming, but you can also do like other things. I know for some here, Mario, I'm talking to you, and I know you're in the call. This use case is data marketplaces would be really interesting to you. And in general, these are all the use cases where you have a known group of peers where you constantly interact. Is it either your friends or your colleagues or like entities you do constantly business with, or you just come together to do a certain action? Like let's say in poker, you come to a table and you want to play poker versus 5 random people. Then you have high throughput in that case, and yeah, like and eventually you settle. So this is like the Is someone asking a question, or?
It's Jay coughing.
No, it was Jay.
I'm sorry.
You can go ahead.
Yeah. So this is the 3 slides. Then we have like the full proposal. This is the executive summary, which hopefully everybody has read. I know we got some feedback in the DAO and also on Telegram, and a couple of people reached out to give private feedback. The biggest one is initially we asked for DOT, and now like we change it to stable coins. So like yeah, everything else I think I mentioned. This is a continuation of our level 3 grant from the Web3 Foundation. We delivered all milestones on that. Like we have a blog post explaining this like on a higher level. You can read the grant agreement, which has all of the techie stuff. You can also watch a video of me explaining like the highest level concepts for 8 minutes, I think. It's open source. You can even try a demo even now. Like you just go to peertree.to and play it with your friends on multiple devices, or even play it on the same device, and tell me, does anything in Polkadot run at the speed of this? So the demo is currently up with Tansy gave us a dedicated app chain, and Apple gave us like IPFS hosting. So yeah, it's we're kind of partnership with them on resilience.
Okay, why don't we leave some time for questions, eh? We
yeah,
have 1 minute remaining here. Yeah. So
okay.
Tommy's got his hand up. Let's hear from Tommy.
All right. So first of all, I appreciate this proposal. It's technically very interesting.
Yeah.
It's one of those proposals where it's not really immediately needed in the ecosystem because we're not hitting scaling limits or pricing problems right now, which I think makes it a little bit hard to argue. I want to make a few suggestions to sell it a little bit better. I would like to ask you to really consider to maybe build poker and focus on poker, and like give us poker on chain. I think this would be something that would be really, really appreciated. Like we need gambling and other stuff. I know there's some concerns about like offering, but like building the software could be safe. But I mean, this is your consideration. I would just ask you to consider this. In the proposal itself, I don't see like where you mentioned the specific blockchain or platform. So maybe cater to hub, or I don't know, make it more clear like what smart contract platform you're targeting. And then it's $700,000, which is a little bit much for me personally, where I would ask you split it, the ask. This is generally good for both parties because the risk is lower for OpenGov, and it forces you to think harder in shorter cycles and like deliver a minimum viable product and go step by step. I know it's not possible in every situation, but maybe in your situation it's possible. I would guess so. And last thing, you say you want to like accumulate also DOT to give it out like as prizes or incentives. You could also ask for a mixed bag of stable coins and DOT in the proposal also.
Yeah.
Okay. And
So
sorry.
like just to answer, this is not on scaling. I think Jeff can also argue that Polkadot scales more than enough. This is on the user experience side. Like, yes, we are also going to do poker. That's the idea, and that's like we are rushing to deliver this as soon as possible. Like, we need this so we can do the use case, which is poker. That's fine. Like, I know this is not the first time someone said it to break it up in milestones. We did the milestones with the Web3 Foundation, and we also have like a product to show already now. The thing is that is not production code, and like going from A to production, everything in between is not really useful if it's not Byzantine fault tolerant. So like breaking it up into milestones in this case doesn't make much sense. The thing also that's the main differentiator here between like doing milestones with the treasury and doing it with like the Web3 Foundation. With the Web3 Foundation, that was a legal obligation. We knew that we were going to like get paid by delivering. And here I would have to submit a proposal and then go and lobby the next set of DVs and so on.
Actually, what you can do, Luca, is you can just ask for a delayed payment. So you ask for half up front and then the rest in 6 months on the same proposal. And then if OpenGum's not satisfied, they can cancel the second payment.
Yeah, but like, would they have to like submit? So would they have to come and lobby people? So it will be fully enforceable by code.
Right. Yeah. As long as OpenGov is satisfied with you and they don't cancel the payment, then you can claim it.
That's the thing. That's the thing. So our design on this, like initially, I do understand why you guys want milestones and stuff, because probably a lot of people rugged and whatever, and that's why like we designed it like this. Like, I'm 1/3 of the multisig, even though I'm kind of new. Jeff is another 1/3, and Casper, which you guys probably also know. So they are 2/3 of the multisig. So that's why we wanted like the payment up front, and then we rush to deliver this so we can focus later, like after this public good stuff, like focus on poker. For poker, we are talking with VCs, but as you guys know, funding in the Polkadot ecosystem is not the easiest thing.
We are way over time, but I think it's a really interesting one, and for this amount, it'd be great to have you back and hear more about it. I think it is a good distinction to say that it's not about scaling, but it is about user experience. Latency is everything, and you know who turned me on to this is Pierre at Parity. He's thinking about latency a lot, and I think there's also this trade-off, right? It's like the lower latency, the less the security guarantees, right? And so this is kind of, you're offering the extreme end of that. I think who is it? Robert K is working on 5-second block times with some security trade-offs, but we can only get so low when it comes to actually on the chain, right?
Yeah, like on the chain, it's different because like I think Jeff can maybe better answer those questions if he turns on his mic. Like the way we are doing like this real-time communication, because everybody who is essentially producing blocks and doing these state transitions, they have some stake. And like we do this like crypto economic game theory on the client side. So if they try and cheat, they lose that stake. That's the thing.
That's cool. Okay. Do come back and talk to us more about it. But this is a great intro to it, Luca. Thank you very much for coming on, and welcome to the AAG party.
Yeah, thanks.
Cool. All right, we're gonna move on now to another discussion. This is the Jam Gray Paper Reader, retroactive funding, 21,000 USDT. This is for a tool that makes navigating the gray paper a whole lot easier. I want to welcome Piotr and
Piotr, and today Sebastian.
Sebastian, welcome, guys.
Yeah. Hi guys. So this is actually the second proposal that we are preparing in this right now discussion phase. So I think we have met here in this channel in December when we presented the Polka virtual machine debugger. And the funding was successful. So yeah, actually we are working on the Gem protocol. We are on one of the 30 plus teams. And the idea of our team is also to provide toolkit. other teams and also for the future for the ecosystem. And one of the issues that we or all the teams have, I will present right now my screen, is that the specification of the protocol is prepared as a pretty complicated document. A lot of math symbols are used here, and it's from one hand side, it's not very readable, for developers. On the second side, it is also hard to discuss topics around the document, and the Jam developers have the possibility to discuss the document on an element channel. That's what we are doing here. But the discussions were pretty hard when we shared screenshots of the PDFs or try to cite any parts of it. So we came up with this idea to build a tool to support the developers by first, of course, presenting the document, then sharing in an easy way parts of the documents, like with links, and so on and so on. Sebastian will do a short intro directly after my intro here. So the tool is meant to be valuable right now in the development phase. But we also believe that due to the fact that we share a lot of notes from the users about some specific things in the document, there's a lot of discussion also on the element channel where we reference the information also to the PDF. So we believe that it will be a living documentation also once the Jam contest will finish, and it will be the one of the most valuable information about how Jam works. And that's why we are here and asking for retroactive funding. So we have open sourced the tool. The tool is available. The people in the Jam development community already use it. And so we basically have the first version ready and published also. But nevertheless, we'll be working on the tool also in the future so that all the Jam teams and all the other developers also after the Jam prize can get value from this. I think we have a couple of minutes more, so Sebastian, if you could take over and show a little bit what we are doing.
Sure, thank you, Piotr. Let me share my screen. So, hello everyone. I am a software engineer here at Fluffy Labs, and I worked on the Great Paper Reader. It's publicly available, and the main feature that we started with is that if you select a fragment of the paper, it automatically changes the address, which if you share, you are directed straight into the selection that you've made. So this way, the developers working with the Great Paper are able to easily share references to the document. And moreover, we are making all versions of the Great Paper available here. So you can link to any part of any version of the document. And the next feature is the ability to make notes. So once you've made a selection, you can add a note. And when you hover over the selection from now on, you will see the note here. Right, so these notes are saved in your local storage, but you can export them. You can import notes from somebody else, but on top of that, you can regularly import notes from certain sources. So we have made available data from Element. We have a tool that collects all the links that have been shared on Element that point to the gray paper reader. And when you look at them, you will see the context in which it was shared and a link to Matrix. And that also uses the label feature, which allows you to label nodes just for organizational purposes. And I would say that is the essence of the reader. Are there any questions?
Nice, guys. Thanks. It's nice that you guys build something useful, come and ask for a little bit of funds, build something useful, come back, ask for a little bit of funds. It's a nice thing we got going here, guys. Are people using this already? Can we tell?
I think most of the implementers on the Jam Element channel. So if you go to the Jam channel, to the Gray Paper channel, every time you see our logo here with the Gray Paper here, it's a link to our tool. So it's like,
Oh wow, okay.
Everywhere. Yeah. I cannot find it right now, but one of the first messages was from Gav that the Gray Paper tool is the tool to use for referencing the parts of the papers. It's also good.
God. Send it. Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody have any questions or comments for these guys? You happy? Great.
Thank you.
Good work, guys. Thanks.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
Alrighty. One more discussion. We have Polk Assembly Social Contract 2025. I remember social contracts. Welcome to the show, guys. This is for 903,000 USDT, I think is the possible suggestion here. And correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, why don't you tell us what you want to tell us? And please do leave some time for question and answers at the end. We're going to start the timer for 8 minutes now. Welcome, guys.
Definitely, yeah. So we'll just run through a brief of the proposal because I think the details can be read there, and that's a better way to go through it because it's a little technical one. We've started doing annual contracts as of last year, and that has worked out pretty well as a framework for our team to focus on building. And we've shared a detailed report of all the milestones that we had promised last year and the accomplished links for those as well. We've seen great traction across the platform, and which has motivated us to kind of move forward and advance the governance infrastructure overall. We've implemented social feed as the default landing, and that will be reflected in the revamped version, which is currently live for West 10. It is a more stable version of Polka Assembly in general. We have optimized on a lot of things at the backend to kind of improve the experience with all of the loads of proposals and interactions going across. The majority of this proposal focuses on integrating Jam as the layer, and our focus is to provide a modular governance framework for parachains to execute at their own flexibility as and when they're ready, kind of giving them more flexibility to implement governance infrastructures in various modes and also interact via XCM messaging. That is the major gist of it. While we have a lot of micro features in plan, I would like to leave some space for questions because I think there might be a lot of those since the discussion only went live some time ago.
I see. Okay, great. Thanks very much. Do we have any questions or comments on the specifics of this contract? OpenGovPower user Limo, what do you have to say?
Hey, so I've been recently helping a few teams submit referendums, and kudos to the Polk Assembly team when there was like an issue. I think it was Nikal who's on the call, did a really good job responding to it. Couple of things I'd like to see as part of this social contract. The ability to add scheduled payments. So some teams might want to request like USDT every quarter or something. It'd be good to add that to the UI. The second thing is the text editor. So when you're adding the context to the referendum, even if you like do it in Markdown or HTML, it like doesn't come out properly. And for example, one team had a discussion post, pressed edit to try and get the formatting, then pasted it into like a referendum thing and like didn't work properly. And it generally just takes a lot of time. So an improvement of that text editor would be really good. That's my complaints. Sorry.
Definitely, the text editor is something that we are aware of. We've been working with experimenting with a lot of tools on how we can improve it. We have a better version of it coming up with the revamp. It's available on Westend as of now. We're planning to migrate the entire platform end of this week probably, and I think that experience should be solved then. Yeah. Thank you.
Great. Mario.
Yes. Well, first of all, I need to congratulate you guys on the proposal. I see it's 32 pages and it's very, very detailed. So I cannot say anything about that. Well, yeah.
No time.
Well, the thing that I have is there also room for any bug fixing or whatever, what is happening right now on Polk Assembly? Because sometimes when I go on there, I see some strange things happening with the meters, or that I don't see the proposal and I go somewhere else and I do see the proposal. So, and that's something that I think I miss over here. So I congratulate you that you want to move forward and do some extra stuff. But what about the basics? Did you thought about just solving the basic stuff?
Yeah, so with our previous versions, when we initially built Polka Assembly, it was meant to deal with governance, which was a very basic infrastructure from then. Since then, we have evolved with the introduction of a lot of features, which caused the overload on the platform, which is why, as part of our last proposal, we have implemented the revamp. So the data at the back end is much more decentralized and the tech stack has been upgraded. We can provide more details about it, but most of it is linked in the development document itself. So the infrastructure has been updated. So most of those issues would be resolved with the revamp. You can still see some of the changes on Western network if you go there, because we are testing it there before we do complete migration. But that's about it. And definitely there's room for bugs for every new feature that comes in. But I think with the Telegram channel and our kind of resources all focused on connecting with the users on a daily basis, we are looking to actively resolve as they come up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's room for bugs, I heard.
There's always rooms for bug. We won't lie about that.
Okay, good. Good luck.
Thank you.
Hey, one of the first points here for the 2025 roadmap says integration of Jam governance tools for extended
Yeah.
cross-chain coordination. I mean, what does this even mean?
So what we're trying to do is with the XCM messaging, we are providing more flexibility to the parachains to kind of run their own governance and implement it at their own flexibility. So for some, we'll kind of implement it in a modular structure. And as and when the parachains are ready to go to a next stage, they can pick and choose governance frameworks and also kind of implement a hybrid mode of voting. We have also introduced another entity which we are planning to develop, which is like organizations. So organizations can put up proposals as an entity. And that is where we are trying to integrate a lot more flexibility with off-chain governance. And with parachains interacting with each other, we kind of share the decision-making capabilities, irrespective of the token holdings as well, as and where relevant, of course.
Okay, so what does it have to do with Jam?
So Jam actually helps us facilitate it with gasless transactions. We are trying to study more on the infrastructure. We currently have a few people allocated on the research part of it. We will define it as and when we go forward. We'll make the complete resources and white papers available open source.
Oh, I see. Okay, Mario, back again.
Really quick question. So this is for 1 million. How much did you actually already got from the treasury? Just for,
So
because this 1 million is for a year, but how much was it previously?
It was 1 million and 112,000. It was over 1 million last year, and this time this is 9. It's like 20% down because we've achieved economies of scale and we've done some optimizations on the back end for certain cloud costs and everything.
Okay.
Last year it was 172,000 DOT, and at the time it was $1.8 million.
1.8.
So this proposal is basically half.
Alrighty. Nice. Thanks for coming on. When are you guys going to post this as a ref?
We are trying to post it by Monday. We first want to get in a lot more opinion and refine if there are any necessary details that the community wants to filter out.
Sweet. Okay. Great. Well, please, you're welcome back if you want to discuss this more once it's up.
Definitely, yeah. Thank you.
Nice. Thank you very much. All right, moving on. Oh, Limo. You know what my 7-year-old nephew and OpenGov voters have in common? They love race cars.
I was gonna say the fucking love racing, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Connor Daly 2025 Polkadot Motorsports Program 2.0. Oh, look at this turnaround. 97.1% in favor. That's fantastic. Less than 1 million on the nay side now, with over 30 on the I side. Congratulations to the Connor Daly team. Yeah, what's going on here? This is great.
No, we appreciate it. It's definitely cool to see. Sometimes, like as we were looking at it, it's obviously been a ride. We've been through a lot. We've learned a lot. But I think the most impressive thing about this community is that they've, I guess, kind of respected what we've tried to learn and put into this to make sure it is worth it. Because we're not, we're obviously trying to make it so, everyone's excited about it, right? 97% solid so far. Obviously, you're never going to win everyone over. We totally get that. We'd like to, but we know that that's a challenge. But it's just shaping up to be something that I think we can all be proud of. There's a lot of cool elements that, again, I've learned. I've been on calls with Billfold now, like every week, and I'm learning more about that system, which is incredible. And I've even sat on to the product display or the product demonstration calls, which I don't need to do, but I'm just actually curious to learn more about it myself. And it's been pretty cool. So shout out to Spencer and all those guys over there who have kind of made those connections. And we've got another trying to introduce them to more and more people. Aramark is obviously a big one. They're willing to help us however possible. They're obviously, we mentioned them before, but they do work at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So a lot of integrations on the Billfold side, the tech side. That's really cool. Funky's been obviously an absolute hero. That guy is. Well, we're very thankful for Funky and Chris as well. And Andrew, who had to avoid a hurricane, I guess, today. He was in Hawaii and he had to leave early, so he can't be here because he's trying to miss a natural disaster. So we're thankful for Andrew getting out of there. But yeah, the paint schemes are coming together. There's obviously a really cool. We want to have a bit of a different look than what we had last year because. Why not try, a little bit more something else? Probably going to have a couple different options for folks of this community to even, vote on and check out on like, hey, which one do you think is the coolest thing that we could possibly be seen in, which I think is cool. And then obviously St. Petersburg is the first race, which is coming up very soon. And Funky's been doing a lot of work on trying to, Funky and Chris and Andrew have been doing a lot of work to try to figure out who we want to be there, who can be there. And it's a program that's building. And now with this momentum, we can get the plans a little bit more solidified, which helps the race team because they've been obviously very intently following along on what's going on. And obviously there are certain deadlines there. And I got to get a suit made too. So we got to get a suit made that represents the pink and white properly and see what happens. So yeah, I can leave it to Funky if he wants to tell a little bit more about what, other things that we've been kind of planning and discussing as we have, our plans a little bit more solidified now, or moving the right direction at least.
Yeah, I won't take too much time, Jay. This has obviously been a team effort. I'm just mostly excited because as someone who's trying to push the whole North American strategic initiative, I feel this is the perfect springboard into all of that. No promises, obviously, but because of their location in St. Petersburg, I feel like Kathy Wood and some of the ARK Invest people would be incredible guests to have at the race and just have discussions about Polkadot, what's being built on the tech stack. Actually, our team, like Lucky Friday / Global Stake, has a meeting with some of the ARK Invest guys, not Kathy, but some of the other team members next week. So it might be something to bring up with them just toward the end of the call. And, because that gives us about a month lead time to try and get some of them there as well. And I'm sure Angie could certainly lend a hand in trying to get other people there for the race too. But just beyond that, like I said in the beginning of the call, very appreciative to Dottie for removing the nay. And I also want to give a shout out to Limo and to Moon. They've been very instrumental in helping us with some of the NFT stuff that we're trying to do, which should also bring, in addition to Billfold, a lot of transactions to the chain, a lot of new users. Just in downloading Nova Wallet and being able to get a gas list limited edition NFT that's commemorative to each race. And then that'll be part of a broader sweepstakes. There'll be more information about this as we roll it out. But yeah, we're just doing our best to just make sure that this is a win. And the last thing I want to say is kind of reiterate something Shorty keeps saying. And this is, I know he hasn't said this to you, Connor, and I'm trying to convey this as best I can. but he really thinks you're the personification of Polkadot. Like, unlike now, Inter Miami's great and it's opened up a lot of doors, and there's nothing wrong with Inter Miami, right? Like, that's a very different kind of thing, but it's different when it's amorphous and it's a team. With Connor, it's like humanized. It's brought into a single sort of avatar, you know, for our community to kind of rally behind and just get behind and try and cheer on. So just really excited to see this play out. I mean, I know we still have some time, and you know, it's never going to be like winning a race. It's never over until we cross the finish line and this thing gets confirmed. But we're all being very positive, and we just can't say thanks enough to the entire community for rallying behind this.
Awesome. Angie.
Yeah, I was just going to say I did a call this morning with ARC to talk about everything that's happening in Florida, and James joined our game soup this morning to give an update. I think that there's such a huge opportunity here with kind of the St. Pete, Miami, you know, dual HQ of North America, because Kathy is actually offering to give space in the ARC Innovation Center for Polkadot, which is pretty amazing because it's going to be full of entrepreneurs, many of whom have relocated from Silicon Valley. So we have, you know, I won't be there next week, but I'll definitely be there the following week, and we'll all get together. But there are a lot of connects to make to you guys, Funky and James, there in terms of new entrepreneurs that we can go after.
That's awesome. Well, this is all great news all around. I'm sure the race team is quite happy to see this as well. That must have been a nail biter.
It's yeah, they there's I don't think I can really be honest about how how important well, I mean, we've all expressed how important this is, but yeah, they're following along, asking me every day. And you know what's interesting, like a lot of people mention the international element. Most of my team is actually completely from all over the world. Like most of my mechanics are from England. You know, we just hired another guy from Australia that just came out. So like our team is actually quite international, and everyone's been paying attention no matter where they're from, and they are being educated at the same time. So it's been cool to just get the hype going. People are like, "Oh, how's it going? How's it going?" Well, you know, we woke up one day and it's a little bit better. So we'll keep it trucking. So yeah,
beautiful.
We appreciate it.
Awesome, guys. Okay, so let's see. We're going to know this is entering confirmation. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's a big spender, right? So 8 days, 13 hours away until we enter confirmation, and that's a week-long march. But looking pretty good. All the votes are in. Very nice. Thanks very much, guys.
Thanks, team.
Okay, we're going to quickly slide in because I saw him roll up with the yellow glasses. Where are you there, Spence? No? Did he leave? Okay. Never mind. We were going to talk about Bash, but that's okay. We're going to roll in. Oh, Spence. Hey, mate. I just wanted to check in on your Bash proposal here, because it was called out. So 452,000 USDT right now, 74.2% in favor. Pretty good. What do we have? We must have some abstains. Chaos DAO abstaining on this. The French guys on the nay side, and everybody else on the I side, waiting for Hungary to come in on, I think, still. Okay, so what's going on here, buddy?
Yeah, I mean, super thankful for everyone that's coming out and supporting this. One of the things, actually, I mean, I love getting feedback from the different TVs and different individuals that are, you know, super experienced in OpenGov. One of the things actually that LayNexus recommended I bring to the table was a little bit more of an understanding around like what we're doing, you know, with Bash sort of on more of the community side and like what's important about that. I don't think it's highlighted in the proposal, but I can sort of tell you about it now as an additional point. One of the things that we do when we work with these artists for Bash, it helps us to understand, you know, more of the problems that these artists are facing. And it helps us design different products and try different things to really kind of build for product market fit. And there are a few, you know, boxes that we like to check when we're looking to book these artists. It's the artist should have a propensity for crypto and new tech. And it's a small segment of people that kind of check these boxes, but propensity for new tech, somebody that's tech savvy. We also look for somebody that's like a very cool sound and a very current sound, so it helps to be authentic to sort of what's happening in dance music at the moment. Plays well in that market, you know, because somebody that plays well in New York might not work as well in Los Angeles or Toronto or Miami, right? And then if they're an older or legacy name, like somebody that is a pioneer in the genre, you know, that they play well with a rising star. So those are some of the things that I don't think are highlighted. Lenex has said that, hey, maybe you guys should, you know, put that forward as a piece of it, because we're so KPI driven for the community here to say like, hey, you know, this is what we're going to do. These are the venues we're going to onboard, yada, 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 but not necessarily focusing on maybe some of the qualitative ads. So I just wanted to bring that up. But if anybody has any other questions about anything, I'm happy to dive into those things.
That's cool. I love the payment integration. This is my favorite thing about the Bash proposals. I mean, the music is great, but that installing those assets is freaking awesome, I think.
It's going to be cool. We actually have a meeting with 11 in Miami to talk about some of this stuff. That guy's like big on Bitcoin. So we're going to do some like wrap Bitcoin stuff, I think, for payments, and hopefully that pans out. And we're also talking to like the factory folks for like Space Miami and all that with Bill Fold. Bill Fold's cool. I'm glad that Connor's been on these calls. Actually, the CEO and the VP of sales was like, yo, I didn't realize that, like, you know, Connor was so into, you know, the tech and stuff. It's like kind of cool. I was like, yeah, he's a good dude.
I heard at the Belilo event in Miami last weekend, a bunch of guys were going to 11 afterward, but I didn't join them. But it sounds like a hot spot. Tommy?
I want to speak in favor of the proposal. And I want to speak to the people that are critical. So for the longest time, I've been very critical about Spencer, not openly, but like in my mind, because for me, it looked like this is just organizing parties. And it took me to some time to understand that like Spencer really has a vision about bringing the music industry to Polkadot. And you can see this when you start paying attention to all the different things he's doing and all the different projects he's pulling together here. And so specifically this one, I want to put your attention to Billfold, which is this integration with the music industry. So while it might look to your critical eye like parties, it's sort of part of a bigger plan, and I think it's very important to keep in mind when you look at the work that Spencer is doing, because it's one of the verticals where Polkadot is getting a foothold, is like gaming, music, entertainment, and those things. And so this is why I support this proposal personally.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you. Hey, thinking about music as a sector or a vertical, besides Bash, what else do we have going on in Polkadot right now for music?
There's so I've been working with the Web3 Foundation also to like kind of help vet different projects that are trying to build in the community and just like connect with more stuff. We're aligning a lot more this year with Beatport. Actually, Lucy has been helping to kind of create different things around that.
Oh yeah, where is Beatport deployed? Like, where is that on chain?
Some Aventus stuff, I believe.
Oh, it's Aventus. Yeah, right.
Do we do events with Beatport? Is that the way it works?
So Beatport has a Beatport IO. I mean, I can't speak exactly to it, but Beatport IO is sort of like an incubator for similar thing. That they're actually like more of a consumer-facing product where they do like NFTs and collectibles and beyond. I know what their plans are for this year. I don't know if they're public, but they have some really cool things that they're working on. Their whole platform connects DJs with labels for distribution of music, like the Beatport core platform. And so this year, not only are they joining us for some of the educational pieces that we're doing a panel called Guest List Plus One Live. The first one we're about to announce is going to be at ETH Denver at Meow Wolf. And you get a free ticket to Meow Wolf, which would be cool. some really cool panelists speaking. So they'll also be on that panel, and you'll maybe have better context around that. We'll put out a podcast with it. And then they're also, we're also trying to align with them on like our wallets API for MuFi, so that all of their all the artists and all of the fans will have Polkadot wallets, and then we can start to like do things with them and create better loyalty rewards. And that will cross over into Billfold because it'll be through the MuFi API. So now people on their platform can do things in real life. It's like coming together. But other than that, there aren't like a ton of other music projects. There's Four to the Floor. These guys that are building on Kusama that I just spoke with that are super fucking cool.
What?
And super high level, like talented guys.
What are they doing?
Yeah, they're focusing on like I think some more like rights management stuff and a stable currency, and creating like ways in which emerging artists can sort of be empowered by like funding opportunities and stuff like that. We're still exploring that. There's obviously Miles, who isn't yet on Polkadot, but we're trying to get him on for Fan Society. I just spoke with him last night, and couple other really good projects, some music AI stuff that we're looking into as well.
MuFi's still going too, eh?
Yeah. MuFi is like a technology provider for some more of the infrastructural stuff, just to make it like easier and more connected. So the way to think of MuFi, and MuFi is the only for-profit entity that I'm involved in, which is not profiting at the moment, but it's working on the infrastructure for how do we make Polkadot like just dumb easy for developers so they can focus on creating products for consumers,
Where might we see
the focus.
MuFi activity on chain eventually? Like, are you going to do that on the hub, or where are you thinking about?
Well, it's all Asset Hub driven. So
That's
everything
cool.
like crypto native payments, USDC, USDT. We'll probably just actually do USDC, Bitcoin, all that stuff. So
cool.
Yeah, that's all driven to the DOT token primarily. Because that's how we get the usage up, baby. Throw it on.
Hell yeah, I love it. Thank you for the tour, and thanks for your work. Yeah, Angie.
I was just going to say that we're doing weekly meetings with the Asset Hub team, and would love to connect you on it, because we need some examples for. We're going to be using Asset Hub for a proof of purchase of a skin of some item in game that we can then create an experience exchange on. So, and we need more volume of examples, basically. So I'd love to connect you on that.
Cool. Yeah, would love to connect. Sounds great.
When you say that,
That's
Angie,
awesome.
do you mean like we just need more examples of how Asset Hub can be used as a smart contract platform, or?
No, just more content, more pieces of content, because the idea is basically that you have a proof of purchase from some activity that you've done in a game, and then you get kind of points. I'm in my head, I'm calling them dot pops. So you get dot pops, you accumulate dot pops, and then let's say Mythical comes and they say, hey, we're offering this helmet for X number of dot pops. And that way each offer has a different currency exchange. So we don't look like OpenSea. We don't look like any sort of exchange. We look like a true experience exchange, where the Polkadot community makes offers for those dot pops. But I need more examples I need content.
Cool. All right. Cool.
We got you there.
Guys,
sounds good.
Thanks for that interesting discussion. And Spencer, let's see how this goes. What do we have here? Confirmation in 10 days, 21 hours. Okay, so ways to go. About halfway through the decision period. Nice. Great. We'll see you again soon.
Thanks very much. Appreciate it.
All right, very good. We're going to move now on to Team Vitality. This is one of the two esports refs that we have up right now. 2 payments of 1.86 million USDC, and struggling right now with 16.1% in favor. Let's look at the votes here. Kus.delegate still on the I side, and then 4 DVs on the nay side, with I guess 1 more to come in. Hungary, still waiting for Hungary. But yeah, guys, what's going on here? The Hive, right? What's going on? Nicholas, welcome.
Yeah, it's good to be back again. So today we'll share a bit more detail, try to address some questions and concerns, challenges from the community. And then if we have a few minutes left, maybe take some questions from the assembly. So I'll start. So yeah, I go quickly on who we are. We're Vitality, again, one of the biggest esports worldwide. And we have a unique proposal to connect esport and Web3. And let's go into that and detail a few points. One important point we wanted to address following community feedback and other questions we got, we wanted to reaffirm and explain why we have a unique proposal and a unique selling point also. You have a very good looking and a very nice partnership with Heroic. On the marketing side, we want to explain that we do the same things differently with our own brand, tone of voice and everything. And we have other things to bring. And it's a multi-layered proposal. So that's what we want to get into today. On the marketing side, I'll go back into that, but also we already have the bricks and the blocks for user acquisition, chain activity, and also having a sustained recurring number of people connecting and using our app and our product and generate new business. So going into what it means in practice. On the marketing side, can change the slide. Okay. So on the marketing side, we are a variety of assets and games, which, let's say, create much more touch points than what others can do, because we're not only on CS, but also League, Valorant. For the ones who follow esports closely, we started our season in Valorant, and it's already obvious that we have one of the best teams in the world. We bring a community of educated audience onboarded because they are following us and our initiative since 3 years. So they're already educated and ready to go to the next level. And obviously, we have the creative part that is a key component to the brand, and again, the tone of voice and the way we communicate and engage communities. And we got, for example, the Esports Awards as the most creative team in esports in 2023. In terms of what it brings in terms of value, the positioning on the jersey, LEC and VCT brings 5 million roughly media value on a yearly basis. We will generate for you guys 3 billion impressions on a yearly basis also, combining all the visibility on jerseys, socials, and everywhere. We also have a massive number of fans educated and following and close to the crypto community. So there's already an overlap and a good connection between the two spaces. The same with the latest statistic with here. So going on the next slide. Okay, so that's the marketing component. How do you get a ton of visibility, a ton of legitimacy in the space, but how do we go beyond that? So the first thing is on the acquisition part. And last weeks, we talked a lot about VI, which is our app, and I'll talk about that and address some points afterwards. But it's not only that, and maybe going also detailing more what we have specific activation that we've done those past years, an AI operation with Zayu, some operation we've done with our teams in Indonesia, our Mobile Legends teams there, our content creators that we have in India, and the same what we can do with our TFT players in North America. So we have, again, a variety of assets and touch points to activate, to have specific one-off activations, and those are the ones that bring a lot of new people to what we're doing, new users on chain. That's kind of the massive one-off operations we can do, what we've done those last years and what we intend to continue. So that's the way you bring a lot of new people, a lot of eyeballs. And then on the right side, you see the recurring part, which is VI. We touched a lot already on VI, which is our app. And there's where the key hardcore fan lie and connect regularly, follow us, interact with us. So it's the first esports app in terms of recurring user. We insist a lot on the no backlash part, especially at an era where gaming community were extremely worried about NFTs. We've done the job of educating, providing value, so they enjoy what we do. Going further in what we want to do with VI, we talked about the open source part and the ways to also make it a revenue opportunity by white labeling it and addressing it together, proposing it to other stakeholders, maybe in other industry than esports. And the objectives there is to generate many more downloads, so 150K downloads this year, 20K new wallet created, and an average of 5K in the app on-chain monthly user. So that's for VI. And going to that in more details, We know some of you recently tested the app and had some concerns, some bugs on the onboarding process and the UX, and that has been raised and flagged. And so it's a good point. So we wanted to explain a bit where we are. While we are in the middle of two partnerships, we ended our previous partnership end of last year. We wanted to use that time frame to release our 2.0 version of VI. So you see on the left the old version, on the right the new one, which brings a lot of new features that you see on the right, a lot of improvement in the UX overall. So it's a very ambitious step for us. Unfortunately, that came with some bugs, some issues that some of you experienced, and you rightfully raised those points and wanted to address that. So we started, we're in the process of finalizing all the fixes on that. We deployed new versions this week and we finalized that. So end of the week, it will be fully functional on all the problems that have been encountered. So I want to suggest to people that had some issues with VI, update it, test it again, give us your feedbacks, and happy to hear from there. But this should be the version that, let's say, is exciting for you guys to see and understand why it creates value overall in that proposal. Okay, so those were the points. I wanted to go faster this week because we have seen some questions from the community, some of those that we addressed in the proposal page, some others maybe. And yeah, I wanted to use, I don't know how minutes left we have, but wanted to open the floor for questions for you guys and maybe give you more specific topics. Hey.
Right, Mario.
Yeah, really quick. Man, those slides are killing, actually. You're super great at marketing.
Agreed.
So what's the but? I'm here.
Yeah, now the but. You already know me. The but is we are tech nerds, and we love those slides, but we also test products. And I mean, I think I need to give kudos to Piki, who tested this app and found out that, Jesus, a lot of things are actually not working. And when you come to the community and you ask a lot of money, to be honest, first there needs to be a kind of trust. You know, you need to build some trust with the community. And when we see that a lot of things that we think are basic are not working, you lose a little bit of that trust. And you know, especially for the amount you're asking for, you need to build up that trust again. That's basically what I want to say. And that will not help with those stunning marketing slides. It's basically doing something to make it work.
Nicholas, I want to get to all the hands, so maybe we'll hear from everybody and then wrap it up.
If I can address quickly what has been said, I think it's a fair criticism, fair shot. I think it was maybe risky on us to use the time frame between our previous partnership and the one we're seeking here to go super ambitious and deliver 2.0. We could have said, hey, we have a fully functional version that works well. Let's not take any risks, sit back, relax, and probably maybe a mistake on ours in timing. I take that criticism. I mean, on the trust side, you're perfectly right. That's why we have partners, and most of our partners, they're here multi-year, because not only, yes, before we sell anything, we will show them great slides. Yes, kudos to the team, good point. But we also deliver on what we say. And most of our partners, they signed Renew last year as an example. And I go back to the app afterwards. We were the only team in eSport that was renewing 100% of its partners because we deliver. And that's what we intend to do here. Now on the state of the app, again, fair point. And that's what I said. We are delivering the fixes. I think in the next 2 days will be all over. So I invite you guys to retest. If it sucks and you hate it, you come next week and you tell me, Nico, it was an empty promise, I don't like it, then fair. But if you think it improved, you have something that reflects more what we're building, what our users have experienced in the last few years with this app, then fair. And that's what I want to say. Not only say, hey, it looks good, will be good, but also test the 2.0 that I round out, that's good, that maybe I was delivered too fast, and then let's have a healthy conversation about that. That makes sense.
Okay, so kind of unfortunate that we're out of time here, but I think it's important to hear from Angie. Angie, what do you think about this, especially in regards to fitting into the broader strategy?
Well, I wanted to dive in Beehive 2.0, but we can do that tomorrow. We're meeting tomorrow with the team, which is great.
Great.
But I think for the community, it'd be interesting maybe for next time to go through, like when Mythical moved over and they have all the big, kind of presence as well. They bring 6 million players over with that one game, and everybody has wallets. And this point, somebody pointed out to me that you've got 150K downloads of the blockchain piece with only 20,000 wallets, and so those numbers would be good to understand. And then also, just kudos to you relative to anybody else in esports. Nobody else even has blockchain or crypto or anything even in their mind. So at least you guys are, ahead of the pack on that, but it's just still pretty small numbers. That's would be something to address.
Yeah, but that's a fair point again. That's on you guys to judge on the value. I think the point that I could raise here is that, first of all, we don't think the value of our proposal lies only in the number of people we bring, because again, there's a huge visibility component, educating component, bridging the gap between esports and Web3 in general, bringing a lot of new users. And yes, some of them will stick, some of them will be interested, some of them will go at different steps or stage of the funnel, let's say. But there is a huge visibility component to be top of mind in a competitive universe, and that's again on you guys to decide how much that is worth, if it makes sense for you. And when it comes to the number themselves, the goal is not to say, hey, we reach those numbers and that's it. The goal is to go much beyond. That was the initial presentation, to also say, hey, I think we had some limitation in our previous partnership in terms of potential, technical potential, the potential to reach a certain number of people. So what we say is, hey, with certain limitation, with a smaller ecosystem, we already achieve things that no one else has done. The goal is to partner and connect with people that can also help us to go to the next level. So that's part of why we say, hey, we have this. So compared to other people, they have nothing. We have this. It's proven. It delivers a lot of value. A lot of people love that. Keep engaging. But the goal is with you guys to go much beyond. And we shared figures. I think it's in the proposal. Then again, it's on you guys to judge, hey, does that make sense? Is it the right value for us, the right universe or ecosystem for us? What I can say is that we think we bring educated users, people that will have a natural affinity for the space, and we want to go much further in that, reaching a wider number of people in that space. And we have what it takes to do so, also purely on the performance side, brand side of what we're unveiling for 25 in terms of number of team, brand, platform, expansion in a lot of new countries also. Because when we did those numbers, we didn't have our huge new initiative in Indonesia. It's fairly recent, same for other countries. North America is a big thing for us this year. There will be the CSGO Major in Austin. There will be many tournaments there, and we'll have a huge dedicated plan for North America to acquire and attract a new fan from that region. So it's a basis that exists. We've delivered, we've proven it, and now we go to the next level. So this is the scale.
All right, we're about 50% over time here. Jose, I hope you don't mind, but I think we're going to move on instead. What do you have a groundbreaking question or comment?
It's more like a comment.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
shake the earth.
I believe in e-teams. It's good. Their target market is kind of like a little young for the technology itself, right? But out of the blue, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, why don't we just have a Polkadot own e-team, right? That has a DAO on which you can, we can get you the development you need, we can get you the energy you need, we can give you the money you need. But I want to see Polkadot team. I don't want to see Hive team with a little Polkadot thing, right? And I'm wondering just how much will that be? How much can we buy Hive for? What's your price, right? And then we are playing here, right? So now we can put in the map, bigger map. We can dominate, right? I don't know. I just you're thinking about it. Sorry, I'm taking your time.
Well, I can come on. I mean, you want to
legitimately
think esports team. So doing your own team, I think it's even if it's a fun conversation here, I think the barriers of entry in esports right now are quite huge in terms of being in the key league, the investment to have players, brand, facility, and everything. So probably doesn't exist anymore unless you can go with 200 million. By the way, which some teams from Saudi Arabia are doing, but they have a special relationship with money. Let's say that. Otherwise, if you want to discuss full-fledged rebranding, renaming, let's discuss over another call. it's quite more ambitious. But
I think it's worth exploring because, I mean, if we go in or we don't go in, I mean, we go in all the way or we just go like, a little bit and just do this
you
every
want
year, right?
a version of the proposal? We can do that.
Guys,
Happy to discuss it.
guys, can we just take a moment to observe Ryan right now? Look at this. This is not good. Okay, all right, we gotta wrap it up.
We guys, there were questions, so I took those, but happy to follow up next week anyway.
Thank you.
Other
I'm going to be interested to
you, guys.
hear, Angie, how this meeting goes and your thoughts after that. We have a lot of funds in the treasury. I think expanding our footprint in the gaming sector is a good one. I think we should explore expanding the dot play bounty. That's something that I would be curious to discuss.
Thank you.
But yeah, this would be good. Hey, I want to throw up a chart that we released on the Coos recently, just so everybody knows. I think probably a lot of you saw this, but this is the treasury income in DOT, and this is just a look back at last year. Look at this. I mean, we all experienced that plummet to near zero income levels and the roughness of last summer going into the fall there. But it's just important to keep in mind that when we lowered inflation, we also fixed income at 49.3 thousand DOT per day. Okay, at today's market price, I mean, this is over 300K a day, almost 400K a day. We have a lot of firepower to work with here. And, I'm not saying go out and waste it, but where the funds are working, I think we should push more funds. But yeah, let's keep rolling here. Speaking of treasury management, Funkatron, obviously, are you okay? Did you have to splash some cold water on your face or something? Yeah, we're back. Okay.
I just needed the restroom. I drink a lot of water.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good to hear. We have a wish for change from you. You wanted to bring it back up because, what happened here? This has gone 99.3% in favor.
Yeah, I just want to be super brief. So, because I think there's only like a day left before this thing times out. So, I had circled back, like just out of curiosity. I was posting stuff for Lucky Friday as a point person for the DV, and I was like, oh my gosh, and I saw that two of the DVs were I on it. And so it's funny, I don't think even the Lucky Friday guys like saw the legit one because they just named the thing that was blank, and then no one has touched. I recused from the main one, so I'll get them to see what they want to say. But I obviously don't have 20,000 DOT. I'm not a DOT whale. So like if there is a whale who's watching and is interested in just putting the decision deposit to let this thing play out.
Yeah, there you go. One day.
Mm-hmm. And because otherwise it's going to time out. Mm-hmm. So now that there is some genuine interest and people have like voted on it, two of the DVs are I think it was Lenexus and Saxonburg. So I feel it's worth at least continuing the conversation. I think it was either one of the two DVs brought up a really good point that it should be assets that we natively bridge in from the Ethereum ecosystem via Snowbridge, which would be good. And, I know I said I'd leave it up to the hydration team, just knowing what I know about what is out there in terms of potential assets. I think Threshold, the TBTC, is probably the way to go.
Sounds like it.
Just because of the security behind it with the new Cypher team that has built that Threshold protocol, which is, as I said, the kind of coding level, almost like a 10,000 signature multi-sig, the way that the architecture works for it. So it's, again, it's never the same as the native asset, right? And we don't have a way to hold the native asset. So, and maybe we will. Maybe we'll have a tech breakthrough someday where we could do that. Because we know that we see that on other chains, right? Thor chain and some others too. So, and who knows, the Hydra boys are definitely a bunch of geniuses when it comes to these kinds of things. So I was just throwing it out there. Don't need the whole 8 minutes. I just saw that it was like a day from timing out. So if anybody is watching AAG and you're a whale and you want to just like, you got a bunch of 20,000 loose DOT, like just hanging around like Jodo used to, and you want to just temporarily put it there and let's see what the rest of this shakes out as a wish for change. Cool. If not, no worries. I mean, it was a good conversation to have and something I think that people will probably take a little bit more seriously, just looking at every time Bitcoin takes a small hit on the chin and loses like 1 or 2%, the alts just like fade and wither. And it just, I think it would give additional stability to the treasury overall and its overall value. And I think over the long term, it's only going to increase because we know that we're likely on a doorstep of having a strategic Bitcoin reserve that's going to induce other nation state FOMO. People are going to, I think the Czech Republic just the other day said their central banks are going to be buying billions of dollars or billions of euros worth of Bitcoin. So, you know, it's an interesting conversation. If it times out, it times out. If some whale is watching and wants to put a decision deposit down, just to let this go the full 28 days and let's see how the wish of change plays out, and then we'll take it from there. So I just wanted to make that quick note. Thanks so much, Jay.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I mean, I think it's a great idea. And even if a whale doesn't come along, and just so everybody knows, you'll get that 20,000 back afterwards. It's just a temporary deposit. All you need to do is go to the ref and click on decision deposit, add decision deposit. There, let me show it on the screen. So just under the blue box here, add decision deposit, connect your wallet, and then you can throw it in. But even if this doesn't get a decision deposit, eventually someone just, you know, from the Hydra team whipping together a Bitcoin strategy, I think looks like it's going to have some support. Limo?
Yeah. So like last week I had like the 3 points, right? So I'd say definitely wait for hydration to migrate away from WBTC, IBTC potentially to TBTC. It looks like is what people want. And then just do like a DCA, right? Even if the decision deposit doesn't get placed, it's probably worth just bagging the ref in whenever there's sufficient TBTC liquidity, and see if people like it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Overall, I think it's reasonable idea.
Yeah, Tommy.
So wish for change is pure signal voting, which means you don't need a decision deposit, right? This is not something that executes. This is pure asking stakeholders for their opinion. So it actually doesn't matter if there is a decision deposit or not. The only thing that matters is how many million dots in interest can you generate for a topic or a theme, right? So if it's 13 million dots like it is right now, that means there is a little bit of support. If it's 30 million, you see, okay, it's quite substantial. Anything above that looks like totally winning, right? So I personally, I don't care about the decision deposit because it's just signaling, right? It's just asking for an opinion, right? So already slightly positive, and yeah.
Thanks, Tommy.
The interesting thing is that the DAOs using the Chaos DAO voting bot don't get triggered to vote unless the decision deposit is placed, I believe. So you have
No, they do. This is I was talking to Team Vitality. So like Team Vitality didn't place their decision deposit for a while. So the votes have happened, but the 28-day process has only started like yesterday. So it's like a weird dynamic where the day 20 stuff is actually going to be like a week into the ref. So it's going to be an interesting
but
one.
it
But
only,
the Diva.
But I mean, this was posted 12 days ago. None of the Chaos DAO voting DAOs.
Yeah, everybody's abstaining. Everybody's abstaining, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Chaos
you're
DAO,
right. You're right.
Fuse, Lucky Friday, yeah.
Forget I said it. That's interesting. I wonder if we're still abstaining. I'm surprised Koos DAO is abstaining.
Pretty split down the middle too. I think if I remember, Koos was pretty split. Chaos DAO was split.
I think Chaos DAO is just split purely because it's like which Bitcoin derivative, like how much. Obviously, if we're like $100 million into Bitcoin, it's probably going to get named. If it's like $1 million, it might be eyed. So it was just like the clarification. But it depends on like the follow-up request, right? Like the treasurer track request to like do this DCA.
Some of the arguments like we shouldn't buy Bitcoin at these high prices is really not worth listening to. That makes no sense. I mean, turning a super volatile asset into a less volatile asset, I mean, any time is a good time, I think.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. All right.
Thanks, Jay.
Yeah, thanks, bro. What else we got here? So okay, so now we have some refs on the go. I wanna pull it up because we're speaking of. I just got to give me a second. Speaking of treasury management, we actually have a banger on Kusama. This is to take. Yeah, this is a treasury LP. So this is a loan. Is that right, there, Lee?
So the way that you have it on screen, right?
I'm
so the
about
way
to,
that this
yeah.
works.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so this is a request of 33,333 KSM from the Kusama Treasury. Now this is slightly different from how it's been done previously for these hydration requests. So when hydration has requested DOT from the Polkadot Treasury, it's really, really easy to validate that the transaction is going to work properly. So you'll see if you go back to it, that when there's been DOT requested from Polkadot to hydration, it's all done trustlessly. Nobody has to hold the DOT because people can validate that the XCM call works correctly using chopsticks. The problem is chopsticks does not work between Kusama and Polkadot. it just doesn't work. We've spoke to Brian. He will add it, but there's no like timeline, and it might be next month, it might be in 6 months. We don't really know. So the way that this is going to be handled is the KSM goes to a multisig, the Hydra Council, basically. These people have held a bunch of DOT before and other assets and haven't stole any, so there's really no risk of that. These people are in the ecosystem. They're really not going to steal the money. These people will then use the Polkadot to Kusama bridge to first obviously do a test transaction, like you always should do, and then bridge the rest of it over. I have a guide on my Twitter on how to do it. I'm on the multisig. It's really, really easy. We do that, then we send it to hydration from Polkadot Asset Hub, and we deposit the LP. And then there's you get an LP NFT on hydration. That LP NFT will then be transferred to the Kusama controlled account on hydration. Then at a future date, when Chopsticks works and everything, there can be a ref on Kusama that withdraws the liquidity and all that kind of stuff, right?
Okay, so at the end of the day, Kusama token holders have the authority to pull back this LP at any time. There's going to be a little bit of trusted business in between, but it's with people we have grown to love and respect, and then there's going to be Kusama trading on hydration is the key here. I love it.
Yes.
Yeah. That's great. I mean, that's a win. Another win.
Yeah, it should increase volume over the bridge.
Huge.
There's other stuff, like I said on the previous show, where maybe there's going to be a request to, again, if it's all approved, to request DOT and KSM to put on Asset Hub. Then that increases like transactions between hydration and Asset Hub, and then Kusama increases volume of transactions due to arbitrage and stuff.
So bring over more KSM to make a pool on Asset Hub on the Polkadot side. Yeah, it's great. We need to do this.
Overall, it's just good. Like, people historically have been, like, I work at Nova, obviously. People have been complaining, like, hey, I have KSM and I want to buy DOT or a parachain token on Polkadot.
Yeah.
And it's like really awkward to tell them how to do it right now. You either have to go to a CEX or use like fixed float or something, like one of these atomic swap things that people are not really comfortable with. This will just make this whole process like a lot better, right?
That's great. Hey, have we heard anything from that? Remember there was that huge liquidity proposal. It was in discussion for DOT, and it was a Snowbridge and Hyperbridge. That was in discussion, and we didn't get it. Did you hear? Do you know about that?
Still in discussion. Some people are very annoyed that they haven't posted that yet.
Okay. Yeah. All right, let's get the show on the road. I mean, okay, we have all these assets. We got to put them to work. This is just so silly having them sitting there doing nothing. Okay, sounds cool. Look, a few other refs that we've spoken about recently, just going to go through them quick. Talisman mobile wallet proposal for under 600K. This is doing great now, 94.5% in favor. Looks like we have a bunch of abstains, but 14 million on the I side. Nova wallet, same boat, but a lot more eyes on this one. A lot more sure. 100% in favor. 56 million eyes here. Entering confirmation in 6 days. Congrats to you there, Lee Marino. What do you want to say about that?
Yeah, Anton was going to come on, but he has a schedule conflict. But we would like to thank everybody for voting aye. And yeah, thank you very much.
Very good. The G2 Esports, this is the other esports one. They are responding to questions and comments in text, and they might be back on the show to respond in person in the future. This one's really struggling though right now. 0.1% in favor. Let's take a look at the votes here. So we have Saxonburg on the nay side, and the DAOs haven't woken up to vote yet. It looks like they will today. So this could change wildly. We'll have to see how that comes out. Yeah. Angie.
Yeah, I was going to say that one thing that I've asked our team to do is put together kind of a compare and contrast of all of these, and working with Strindbergman as well, because I think there's I think it's good to just think big picture, what is going on here, and what is the audience size, because these are ways to reach a big audience. Yeah. And so we should compare how big those audiences are relative to, let's say, the Super Bowl or the Indy 500 or other places. And then within that audience, how many of those people are even open to the idea of crypto? And then how many of them, could we onboard? And so, there's two aspects. There's the sponsorship aspect and how big is the audience, which is really easy to kind of put numbers around. And then there's the how many of these people can we onboard? So we're working on that analysis, and I know that it doesn't quite fit in the timeline of everything, but we're working as fast as we can to get that for the community.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I think we have reports. I can show you. There are some reports on that I've read, especially about esports and crypto. But I think all of these. So can I say something which I think is pretty amazing? So like a year ago, no one in esports were thinking about Polkadot, like at all. We were not top of mind for anyone. And now all these organizations are talking to us. And in general, it's just a massive win for Polkadot. And now we have like the opportunity to get a number of partners in the esports space and like really, really set our mark. So it's very good times for Polkadot in terms of esports. No matter like who we go with or anything like that, it's like we did a really good job of that. So I'm super happy with that.
I also should say that I think it's definitely new territory. So even if it's, these are big audiences, it's just a matter of figuring out kind of which of these we want to go for, because there's going to be a Venn diagram where they overlap each other. Yeah.
I'm super neutral on these. For me, I just want to see it like holistically part of the dot play strategy and figure out how it really fits in. It just seems so easy to splash cash at something like this with big numbers, and just want to make sure. Yeah, I'm neutral on it, but looks like Kustau is going to come in on the I side here. Kustau is actually going to go to nay for the Vitality. Looks like that's going to come out in a few days. What's Chaos DAO on this, Lee? Do you know? And Lucky Friday?
It's nay DAO, dude. Like, what can I say?
It's nay right now?
I imagine so.
Yeah, I looked at. I got into.
It was the Kus DAO where all the questions about the functionality of the app came up. So there were a lot of people in the Kus DAO testing the app. We're talking about the Vitality one here. So there were a lot of people there. So that kind of what started people to like dismantling the app and looking at that. So there are a number of people there who like brought up very fair points that now are going back to Vitality. And I mean, they are updating something, and these people will test it again. If it's better,
could come around.
People are prepared to change their minds in Polkadot. So
okay, G2 abstain for Chaos. Chaos.
We are barely I.
Barely I. Interesting, eh? For those paying attention, the Treasury OpenGov in general has swung a little bit liberal in spending. Like we went through a pretty conservative phase there for a few months, but not a lot of refs are coming through, and people are passing refs right now. It's kind of interesting.
We certainly have, right? Like Lucky Friday has, because we feel like this is the year to make a push, right? Like we can't deny that. And I feel like we've all, especially AAG participants, have been through this whole pendulum swinging back and forth, right? Where and then especially what I gave Moon feedback for this one in particular was like I felt that the presentation should be about more like what it does for Polkadot, less about like the team and all that other stuff and blah, blah, blah. Like I said, those slides that come in the back half of the deck should be at the front. There's way too much text. I gave him a bunch of feedback on this stuff because I feel like that was, at least for my individual vote, was why I was because I feel like creating that funnel that's going to bring people and new participants into the ecosystem, fresh blood, new community members. That's why, like me, I was personally
One thing I hate about this proposal though is the dot request. Tommy, what do you got to say here?
I think we're seeing this situation again and again where we suddenly get proposals in the same category, like multiple.
Yeah,
we had Yemi, and then it was Inter Milan or something. We're seeing it here now. We also had it in the period where everyone was suddenly proposing an indexer.
Yeah.
And sort of, in a way, I'm fine with the way it works right now because we could agree to multiple of those or all of those if we want to. I wonder if OpenGov is missing an instrument for this, because, for example, one way to handle it is to have a request for proposals, but you never know in advance when suddenly someone is going to come, right? But at the same time, a request for proposal is also an invitation. Like a traditional request for proposal implies a little bit you're going to select one, but OpenGov could actually select multiple. But I think we should think about this and maybe make this a consideration that someone could also ask to get paid to like organize a request for proposals and sort of get this out, right? And then OpenGov can agree and send this message out. Hey, if you are an esports organization, like fill out, like give us this piece of information so that it's sort of comparable, right? Because I think that the basic problem we have is it's hard to compare.
Can I just add to that? Because I think like Strimbergman and I have already talked about working together on something similar. And if these don't go through, it would be a good opportunity to do exactly that and include Heroic, because Heroic is already in the family.
I know, yeah.
Right. And so it would be good to have like just a holistic kind of what is our approach here? Do we go after all of them? Do we go after the one that has the biggest audience and the most activity? Do we go after the one that is going to bring, like, I love Team Vitality's app because they've actually thought about blockchain. Most esports orgs don't even think about blockchain. So yeah, there's a lot to consider, and it's unfortunate that the timing is kind of all over the place. It's not really how you make a decision, you know, from a business perspective.
That's it. It's like can Polkadot be esports? And it's not just the teams, but there's probably all this other infrastructure in the esports world that Polkadot can help with as well, right? Cool. Strind.
Yeah, and part of what Heroic did for us is that they did like a big report on like problems that exist in esport and how they can fit into blockchain applications. And that report, I don't know where it's published, but it is free. We own it as a community, and we are free to use it. And they list like the biggest money opportunities, like previous successes. It's like a big report that they've done for us. But anyone can ask me, Strindbergman, you know, I think Angela, I've sent it to Angela, but we can fix it so anyone can read it. And that is done by a group we put together with Heroic. So it's not just their opinions, right? So there's industry professionals from blockchain, and they bring the esports part to it. So it's very good. I'll find out where it's published. I can send it to you, maybe Jay, and you can like provide it to the community.
Cool. Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's our thing that we own as Polkadot.
Hey, one more ref that we've spoken about recently. This is, I think, it's not done yet, but kind of a conclusion. This is the Quit Mobile payment wallet. And this was that situation where it came out that they were still delivering a previous proposal. Just a little bit of unfortunate politicking. Anyway, 3.1% in favor for this one now. And I think what might happen is they might build it anyway and come back for a retroactive payment, something like that. But yeah, there's that. Yeah. Are there any other refs we want to speak about before we look at what's confirming? Kind of quiet out there. Yeah, Lee.
Regarding the quick one, the team DM'd me today.
Yeah.
Because if you remember last show, they were talking about USDC, and it's like Magic Ramp has just added USDC.
Yeah.
So they asked me to send them a link to that.
Nice.
So they are definitely still like doing stuff.
Yeah.
Even though it's 3%.
That's great to hear. Okay, some refs that are confirming. Interesting here. We have NextGen Smart account features powered by Polkadot, 606.38 thousand USDC. This one is hanging on at 61.7%. You know, this kind of reminds me of that opening discussion that we had today with the peer-to-peer side channels. It's like really interesting tech. Who's going to use it? I think they did manage to answer that question for enough voters here. And they are now in their confirmation period with 3 days, 4 hours remaining there. We also have, oh wait, what happened there? Okay, Ideal Network, the randomness layer for Polkadot's world computer, 300,000 USDC, 99.7% in favor on this one. And oh, you know what? I think my tabs are a bit mixed up here. Just give me a second. Polkadot Fast Grants Bounty. Okay, here's another confirming one. This is the Easy A guys, also hanging on with 60.2% here. And what do we have? 2 days, 2.5 days? left in the confirmation period. That's good for that. Good for them. I'm glad to see that one go through. Okay, and here's the other confirming one. Closing Bounty 27, Polkadot Parachain Assets on ramp. This is going to bring that dot home to the treasury so we can stare at it while it collects dust, I guess. But it is good to keep this all clean. This is a 7-day confirmation period with 5 days, almost 6 days remaining on that one. So there you have it. Hey, one more thing I wanted to show you. We just posted this on the Coos. Breaking. It's not really breaking, but we just found this interesting. I was bopping around Token Terminal, and if you order all of the rollups across the whole industry by transaction volume, 7-day, 30-day, we did 7-day here, but 10 out of the 20 top rollups are actually on Polkadot. I think this is a really cool stat to see just how lively Polkadot is. Obviously, Base is crushing at 70 million transactions in the last 70 days. That's nuts. But it is still true that half of the active rollups in the industry right now are secured by Polkadot. Oh, I'm going to show it on screen. There we go. Half of the industry rollups are still on Polkadot right now. And yeah, it's just a cool stat. So if you do see that on the timeline, share it around because I think people would be interested and surprised to know that. So that's the show this week, everybody. Angie, did you make it to Vancouver or no?
I did not. I wish I would have. Sorry.
Oh, please, that's okay. Hey, if you
A
don't,
long way.
it is. Yeah, it is. I know. If you
I'm
don't
gonna be
mind,
in Denver and Paris and a lot of other places.
yeah, I know, of course. Well, we'll see you in Denver. And if you don't mind, could you stick around the call I just need 2 minutes of your time after
Of
we close
course.
the show. That'd be great. Thank you. We do have Jose in Vancouver though, right? Anybody else on the call?
James, I thought.
James, yeah. Oh, yeah, of course. But he's not
Yeah.
here anymore.
Oh.
No, he's in the hotel here. That's going to be great. I don't know. Are we allowed to talk about what's going on here yet or no?
I think so. I mean, I think so. I don't know.
Is this being publicly?
You say something and then I say something.
Limo's saying no. This is so silly. But stay
okay.
Stay tuned.
Tommy's doing the hook now.
I don't know. It's so odd. But stay tuned to the Coos tonight because we're going to possibly, not guaranteed, but possibly test out our new mobile broadcasting station where we might have a really interesting broadcast for you. It's going to be late. We're talking, 5, 7? We're talking midnight UTC. But you might want to tune in. Could be pretty cool.
If you get that mobile station working, I need you at the next in-person game souk because we did one in London and somebody asked me over the Zoom if we were recording it with a microwave.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, we're gonna elevate all the content across the eco. We'll make sure that happens. Yeah. Cool. Guys, thank you very much for being here. It was a great show. And we'll see you all on Monday, where we'll get all chaotic and whatnot. This weekend on Space Monkeys. Ooh, we have a nice short but exciting episode with Josep from the Papi Project. We've seen Papi here on Open Governance on AAG. And yeah, this is really cool. It's a bit of a nerdy episode, but I think you should check it out. You'll definitely enjoy it. We'll see you all on Monday. Have a great weekend, everybody.